Hello, students. Good afternoon to you all. Welcome to your special teleeducation classes. So, how are you all? আশা কৰিছো আটাই ভালদৰে আছা, right? So, we are going to discuss something very interesting today. So, what do you have in store? Let's find out. So, this is going to be a session on, a grammar topic called antonyms. So, what is antonyms? Let's find out. So, what can we see here? কি দেখিছো আমি ইয়াত? We could see a zoo, isn't it? We look at this now. There's a family visiting a zoo. So, first thing they looked at was what? Ah, tigers, right? They saw tigers. Then they saw some birds. Afterwards, they moved towards the fish tank, right? So there were a lot of colorful fishes. So what happened now? We went on a trip to the zoo and came home the next morning. We went on a trip to the zoo and came home next morning. Our school is planning a tour to Shillong. So what is happening? They went on a trip, went on a zoo, came home next morning. Our school is planning a tour to Shillong. So what is happening? Yeah, people are visiting the places. They could see an ancient palace. They could see a hilltop, right? So they are climbing towards it. So we can see a lot of things. It was far, then they went very near. So what is that? Near. If near is a word, opposite of that would be what? Far. So what is antonym? Antonyms are nothing but opposite word. Antonym বিলাক হ'ল বিপৰীতাৰ্থক শব্দ. Some words which will have opposite meaning will be called as what? Antonyms. So if near is one word, opposite of that would be what? Far. Now look at this. We can see what? There is a place called Mahatma Gandhi Park near a school. এখন স্কুলৰ ওচৰত মহাত্মা গান্ধী পাৰ্ক বুলি এখন পাৰ্ক আছে, হয় নে নহয়? So there is a park near my school. মোৰ স্কুলৰ ওচৰত এখন পাৰ্ক আছে. There is a park near my school. There is a park near my school. So what's the word here? Near. So what would be the antonym of near? Let's find out. বহুত দূৰ আহি গলো আমি. As we are traveling, we came a long way, right? But it is far from my house. Well, so near was the word which meant what? Osorat thoka. And the next word we got is what? Far. So the antonym of near is what? Very good. That is far. There is a park near my school, but it is far from my house. There is a park near my school, but it is far from my house. So again, there is another word for which we have to find out the antonym, and the word is what? Tall. So opposite of tall would be what? Very good. So opposite of tall, antonym of tall is short, right? So let's see. Mahesh is tall. We can see two boys here. Mahesh is tall, right? So what's the word here? Tall. Mahesh is tall, right? So the other one is what? But his brother Manish is short. So what is the word? Short. One is tall, whereas the other is short. Fine. Mahesh is tall, but his brother Manish is short. tall and short. So when it comes to tall and short, they are what? Very good. So tall is, if tall is the main word, short is the antonym of it. They are opposites. They are opposite words. So tall is the root word and the antonym of tall would be what? Short. So antonym মানে হল বিপরীত অর্থ. Alright. So new. What could be the antonym for the word new? Obvious, নতুনৰ antonym কি হ'ব? পুৰণি, isn't that? So if new is the root word, antonym of that would be what? Old. New and old. Right then, look at the next one now. There's a lady who's writing something. Okay. So Pretty has a new pen. Pretty has a new pen. So the girl's name is Pretty and she has a new pen. New pen. Now what is she doing? She picked up another pen, but she threw away her old one. So she has a new pen, so she threw away her old one. What did she throw? Very good. Old one. So Pretty has a new pen, so she threw away her old one. One is new and the other one is very good. So if one is new, the other one is old. Pretty has a new pen, she threw away her old one. New and old. Right. So then we have one more word. What's that? The word is long. It's long. L-O-N-G, long. So long is what? Long মানে দীঘল হয়, মানে নয়, বহুত দীঘল. Long is long only, right? Long is মানে কি? বহুত দীঘল, right? So opposite of that would be what? Very good. This is short. So opposite of long is short. Long and short. So they are the opposites. Now let's see some examples with that. What can we see here? We could see the hairs of two ladies, isn't that? So one's hair is long and the other one is short. So Kavita has long hair, whereas Kavita has what? Long hair. But her sister Namita has short hair. But her sister Namita has what? Short hair. One has long hair and the other one has short hair. Kavita has long hair, but her sister Namita has short hair. Difficult. So the next word is very good. So the next word we are looking at is difficult. So what would be the antonym for this word difficult? A difficult শব্দটোৰ antonym কি হ'ব পাৰে? We need the antonym for this word difficult, right? So it's pretty simple. Antonym of difficult is what? Very good. It's easy. So difficult is easy, right? If I look at few what examples, first word is what? We can see a boy sitting in his study table, trying to read something or solve something on mathematics. So mathematics is difficult for Raju. So the boy's name is Raju and he finds the subject mathematics difficult. Mathematics is difficult for Raju. Mathematics is difficult for Raju. Now he's reading English. Look at their facial expression. When he's looking mathematics, he's like shocked. Whereas when he's looking at the green book that is on English, he has a sort of a smile. So but English is easy for him. But English is easy for him. Mathematics is difficult for Raju, but English is easy for him. Waste. So what is waste? Waste is what? Wasting only. নষ্ট কৰি দোৱা, বৰবাদ কৰা. So that is waste. And the opposite of that would be what? Very good. It's save. এটাই যদি বস্তুটো বেয়া কৰি পেলাব বুজায়, আনটোৱে কি বুজাব? বস্তুটো যতনাই ৰখা, ভালদৰে ৰখা, right? So one word is waste and the other word is save. Waste and save. Now how to use the antonyms, in a sentence? Let's find out. চাওঁ আহাচোন আমি কেনেকৈ ব্যৱহাৰ কৰিব পাৰো এই এন্টোনিম কেইটা। চোৱাচোন, from the tap is open, water is flowing, so we can say we should not waste water. We should not waste water. Waste কৰা মানে কি? অপচয় কৰা, right? So we should not waste water. আমি পানী অপচয় কৰিব নালাগে। Okay, for people in Assam, it's an available commodity. Not for all. In certain places, even water is still difficult to get, right? But in most places, it's an available commodity. So we people don't understand the real value or true value of water. But that is not the thing. Water is very precious and we should not waste it. We should save it. So can we see the difference? First one was what? Water was open, tap was open, water is flowing all over. Second one is what? We should save it. We should not waste water. We should save it. We should not waste water. We should save it. So now what are the words we have learned? For near, antonym is far. Then for new, the antonym is very good. That is old. Similarly for long, antonym would be what? Short. Then what? For difficult, its antonym is very good. It's easy. And lastly, save, antonym is what? Waste, right? Or we have used the word waste. So for us, waste antonym would be what? Save. Whether you say what is the antonym of far, it would be near. What is the antonym of old, it would be new. What is the antonym of short, it would be long. What is the antonym of easy, that is difficult. And antonym of waste would be save. Similarly, we can say the thing other way around. Anto saidor পৰা ক'ব পাৰো যে near opposite by antonym হ'ব far, new antonym is old, long difficult antonym is short, difficult antonym is easy, and save antonym is waste. Right? So these are opposite words, or we can call them antonyms as well. They are opposite words and every opposite word is an antonym. So every opposite words are antonyms. Fine. So this brings us to our question. Let's see, what do we have here? Here's a question coming your way. Please read the questions carefully and then answer it. To answer this, I'm going to give you 60 seconds and your time starts now. Please try and answer it quickly. All right, so we are done with the timings. It's time we find out the right answer, isn't that? So choose the right antonym for the underlined word. Okay, so what would be the underlined word here? Happy. Carlos was happy when he got his new bike. Okay, so there's a boy whose name is Carlos and he was very happy when he got his new bike. Now our word is what? Happy. And what could be the antonym of happy? Opposite of, can it be joyful, excited, or glad? No, all these words mean the same thing. এই গোটেইকেইটা শব্দই কি হয়? উৎসাহ, উদ্দীপনা, সুখী হোৱা এইটোকে বুজায়. So our word is very good. Most of you I suppose have got it right. The right answer is option A, that is sad. Right? Fine then. So here is an activity for you all. You have to read and write. So Rajiv and Madhav visited a lighthouse. Just read and write with it. All of you, please. Rajiv and Madhav visited the lighthouse. It was tall and strong building with bright lights. So, you need to note down the highlighted words. Rajiv and Madhav visited the lighthouse. That is the first sentence. Then the next line says it was a tall and strong building with bright lights. It was a tall and strong building with bright lights. So what you need to do, you need to note down the word tall, strong, and bright. In olden days, sometimes the sailors were lost in the sea. In the olden days, sometimes the sailors were lost in the sea. Then a group of clever young men had an idea. Another word is what? Clever. Note it down. Then a group of clever young men had an idea. They collected huge logs. They collected huge logs. Note down the word huge. Logs and dry branches. Dry is the other word. Dry branches and set them on fire. And set them on fire. So what we need to do? You need to read. Let's read it again. Rajiv and Madhav visited the lighthouse. It was a tall and strong building with bright lights. In olden days, sometimes the sailors were lost in the sea. Then a group of clever young men had an idea. They collected huge logs and dry branches and set them on fire. So the words we are learning, trying to learn are what? Tall, strong, bright, clever, huge, and dry. Later sailors explained the use of the lighthouse. Later, Rajiv and Madhav were happy to talk about the lighthouse. So Rajiv and Madhav were happy to talk about what? The lighthouse. Rajiv and Madhav were happy to talk about the lighthouse. Okay, choose the words from the box that means opposite to the words you have written in your book. Now you have written some words, right? So you have to find out the opposites. Tiny, weak, short, sad, dim, wit, and foolish. So, you have noted down the word, right? So you have to match the word with the opposites. So first is what? Tall. So what would be the opposite of tall? It's short, right? Then strong is what? Very good. Strong is weak. Strong, opposite of strong is definitely weak. Then the next word is what? Bright. So what would be the opposite of bright? Very good. It's dim. So bright swa and to dim. Bright is what? Ujjwal, dim to বেশি হেই না থাকে. All right. Clever. Someone is very clever. Clever. খুবই বুদ্ধিয়ক, চতুৰ. So what would be the opposite of clever? Obviously someone who's not clever. So it would be what? Very good. That is foolish. Then we have huge. Huge is what? Massive. বহুত ডাঙৰ, প্ৰকাণ্ড, বিশাল. So huge, opposite would be what? Something that is very small. Very small. So that is what? Very good. It's tiny. So see, elephant is a huge creature, whereas an ant is a tiny one. So that is huge. Then the next one is what? Dry. So dry মানে কি? শুকান, হয় নে নহয়? So dry opposite would be what? Very good. That is wet. So one is a dry cloth on the left, and on your right, it's water dropping from it. So that's a wet one. So that is the word dry and wet. So happy is our last word. Happy, we all know what does happy means. Happy is what? Feeling ecstatic. We have just answered a question. So happy is very good, my dear friends. Happy is sad. right? So happy is sad. Fine then. So tall, opposite is what? Short. Opposite or antonym is short. Then strong, it would be what? Weak. Bright would be what? Dim. Clever would be what? Foolish. Then huge is what? Tiny. Dry is wet. And then happy is sad. Right? So this brings us to one more question. So let's see what do you have in store. Again, here is a question coming your way. It says what? Choose the antonym of the underlined word. My father is a brave man. My father is a brave man. You have to find out the antonym for the word brave. Your options are heroic, timid, strong, and bold. Heroic, timid, strong, and bold are your options. You have to pick the right answer. To pick the right answer, I will give you 60 seconds. শুদ্ধটো বাছি উলিওৱাৰ কাৰণে মই তোমালোকক সময় দিম 60 ছেকেণ্ডৰ আৰু তোমালোকৰ সময় আৰম্ভ হৈছে from your time starts from now. All right, it's time up. It's time up. তোমালোকৰ নিৰ্ধাৰিত সময় উকলি গ'ল. Now you have to tell me the right answer for this word. The word is what? You have to find out the right answer for this one, right? So my father is a brave man. So what could be the right answer? Brave means what? Brave is very brave, right? So someone who has that positive energy about him, someone who is courageous, someone who has that, you know, bravery. So brave অসমীয়াত ক'ব গ'লে সাহসী হয় নে নহয়? So my father is a brave man মানে সাহসী যাৰ সাহস আছে, right? So heroic is related to heroes and heroes are brave only. Bold, option D, again is somewhat similar. Bold is what? It's an outrageous, courageous decision. So bold again is not the word, right? Strong, well, brave men are mostly strong. So strong and brave or strong people are basically brave only. There may be one or two exceptions, but they are brave only. So the right word here, very good, very good. That is timid. Timid is someone who's sort of a bhoyatur. Okay, someone who lacks courage, someone who doesn't have, the bravery, someone who's subdued. So timid is a bhoyatu sort of a person. So the answer is option B, timid. Right? So here is an assignment before we move on. So what you're supposed to do, frame sentences with the words. There are a few words here for you all. You have to frame sentences with them. So what would be the words? You have to you frame sentences with these words. Weight, tall, huge, and small. Your words are what? Wet, tall, huge, and small, right? So what are you supposed to do now? You're supposed to frame sentences. Now let's do a quick revision of this activity before we wind up for the day. So you have to do what? You have to read it again and find out the answers. So what do we have here? Rajiv and Madhav visited the lighthouse. It was a tall, strong, and with bright lights. In olden days, sometimes the sailors were lost in the sea. So then a group of clever young men had an idea. They collected huge logs, dry branches, and set them on fire. Later, sailors explained the use of lighthouse. Rajiv and Madhav were happy to talk about lighthouse. So we have seen some words here. I'm doing a quick revision of this one. The words were what? Tall, strong, bright, clever, huge, dry, and happy. All right. So if you have to choose the opposites, tiny, weak, short, sad, dim, wet, and foolish were the words. So এইকেইটাৰ পৰা আমি কি opposites choose কৰিব পাৰো? What are the opposites we all can choose from this one? First one was what? Tall. So as we have already seen, tall মানে কি হয়? ওখ হয়, right? So opposite of that tall would be what? Opposite of tall is definitely short. যদি কোনোবা ওখ হয় তাৰ opposite কি হ'ব? নিশ্চয় চাপৰে হ'ব. So if you remember the example of the boys, two brothers in the very first frame, tall and short. Then the next one is strong and the other one is weak. So strong যদি হয় শক্তিশালী হয় and তার opposite কি হব? Definitely দুর্বল. So one, we can see a bodybuilder on the left, you know, on the left of your screen you can see a bodybuilder who is definitely strong, whereas on the right side we can see an old man with a stick, walking stick, who definitely looks much weak. So strong and weak. Then bright is ujjwal aru dim to ki hobo? Kom pohor thoka. So opposite of bright we can see the bulb is glowing. This one has very little light. So bright is what? Dim. And then we have the word next word which is clever. Clever মানে কি হয়? বুদ্ধিয়ক, চতুৰ, হয় নে নহয়? So obviously তাৰ opposite to কি হ'ব? মূৰ্খই হ'ব, isn't that? So if one person is clever, you know the opposite of that would be what? Foolish. If clever is the word, opposite of that would be what? Foolish. Then huge would be the word. Opposite of that would be what? Huge মানে কি? প্ৰকাণ্ড, বিশাল, বহুত ডাঙৰ, হয় নে নহয়? So opposite of that would be what? Very good. Huge is tiny. For example, we can have a look at the elephant. You know, elephant is a massive, huge animal. And opposite of that, we have that ant. You know, as they say in Hindi, na, the hati and cheetah ki kahani. So that's like the same way. Elephant is huge, ant is a tiny one. So it would be what? Opposites or antonyms we can say. Then dry is one word. Dry মানে কি শুকান আৰু wet হলে কি হ'ব? তিতা হ'ব, হয় নে নহয়? So if dry is the main word, opposite of that has to be what? Very good. Opposite of that is wet. Dry is one word and the opposite of that is very good. That is wet. Then we have another word coming for us, that is happy. You know, this is one word we use a lot in our life. Happy is what? Suki hoi thoka. So obviously tar opposite to ki hobo? Dukhi hobo. Happy is happiness, joy, excitement, and sad is what? Sadness, sorrow, and all other words. So opposite of happy is what? We can see the emojis. One, you know, quite happy, and the other one is pretty sad. So these were our antonyms, right? Happy, sad, and all those things. Then we saw what? Tall and short, right? Strong and weak, bright and dim, then clever and foolish, right? Huge and tiny, and then dry and wet, and finally happy and sad. Those were the things we had, right? So here is, I'm repeating the assignment once again for you all. Frame sentences with the words. You have to frame these sentences. We saw that they were antonyms or opposites to some words. Now what you need to do is you have to frame sentences with the words. Words were what? Wet, you know, tall, huge, small. These were the words. One is a wet, other one is tall, the next one is huge, and the last one is small, right? So these are the words with which you have to frame sentences. So with that, what will we do? We will wind up for today. We will see you next time with a different topic. Till then, stay safe and keep working hard. We'll wind up here for today. See you next time. Thank you.
মৰমৰ ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকল, আহাচোন তোমালোকৰ এইবাৰৰ গ্ৰীষ্ম বন্ধটো আৰু অধিক আমোদজনক তথা তথ্যপূৰ্ণ কৰি তুলো। কেনেকৈ? এই বিশেষ পাঠসমূহৰ সহায়তে। এই পাঠসমূহ উপলব্ধ হ'ব ইউটিউব আৰু ফেচবুকত। লিংক দুটা তোমালোকৰ সন্মুখতে দিয়া হৈছে। এই পাঠসমূহে আমি পুনৰ অধ্যয়ন কৰিম। মৰমৰ ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকল, আহাচোন তোমালোকৰ এইবাৰৰ গ্ৰীষ্ম বন্ধটো আৰু অধিক আমোদজনক তথা তথ্যপূৰ্ণ কৰি তুলো। কেনেকৈ? এই বিশেষ পাঠসমূহৰ সহায়তে। এই পাঠসমূহ উপলব্ধ হ'ব ইউটিউব আৰু ফেচবুকত। লিংক দুটা তোমালোকৰ সন্মুখতে দিয়া হৈছে। এই পাঠসমূহে আমি পুনৰ অধ্যয়ন কৰিম। মৰমৰ ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকল, আহাচোন তোমালোকৰ এইবাৰৰ গ্ৰীষ্ম বন্ধটো আৰু অধিক আমোদজনক তথা তথ্যপূৰ্ণ কৰি তুলো। কেনেকৈ? এই বিশেষ পাঠসমূহৰ সহায়তে। এই পাঠসমূহ উপলব্ধ হ'ব ইউটিউব আৰু ফেচবুকত। লিংক দুটা তোমালোকৰ সন্মুখতে দিয়া হৈছে। এই পাঠসমূহে আমি পুনৰ অধ্যয়ন কৰিম। মৰমৰ ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকল, আহাচোন তোমালোকৰ এইবাৰৰ গ্ৰীষ্ম বন্ধটো আৰু অধিক আমোদজনক তথা তথ্যপূৰ্ণ কৰি তুলো। কেনেকৈ? এই বিশেষ পাঠসমূহৰ সহায়তে। এই পাঠসমূহ উপলব্ধ হ'ব ইউটিউব আৰু ফেচবুকত। লিংক দুটা তোমালোকৰ সন্মুখতে দিয়া হৈছে। এই পাঠসমূহে আমি পুনৰ অধ্যয়ন কৰিম। মৰমৰ ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকল, আহাচোন তোমালোকৰ এইবাৰৰ গ্ৰীষ্ম বন্ধটো আৰু অধিক আমোদজনক তথা তথ্যপূৰ্ণ কৰি তুলো। কেনেকৈ? এই বিশেষ পাঠসমূহৰ সহায়তে। এই পাঠসমূহ উপলব্ধ হ'ব ইউটিউব আৰু ফেচবুকত। লিংক দুটা তোমালোকৰ সন্মুখতে দিয়া হৈছে। এই পাঠসমূহে আমি পুনৰ অধ্যয়ন কৰিম। মৰমৰ ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকল, আহাচোন তোমালোকৰ এইবাৰৰ গ্ৰীষ্ম বন্ধটো আৰু অধিক আমোদজনক তথা তথ্যপূৰ্ণ কৰি তুলো। কেনেকৈ? এই বিশেষ পাঠসমূহৰ সহায়তে। এই পাঠসমূহ উপলব্ধ হ'ব ইউটিউব আৰু ফেচবুকত। লিংক দুটা তোমালোকৰ সন্মুখতে দিয়া হৈছে। এই পাঠসমূহে আমি পুনৰ অধ্যয়ন কৰিম। মৰমৰ ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকল, আহাচোন তোমালোকৰ এইবাৰৰ গ্ৰীষ্ম বন্ধটো আৰু অধিক আমোদজনক তথা তথ্যপূৰ্ণ কৰি তুলো। কেনেকৈ? এই বিশেষ পাঠসমূহৰ সহায়তে। এই পাঠসমূহ উপলব্ধ হ'ব ইউটিউব আৰু ফেচবুকত। লিংক দুটা তোমালোকৰ সন্মুখতে দিয়া হৈছে। এই পাঠসমূহে আমি পুনৰ অধ্যয়ন কৰিম। মৰমৰ ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকল, আহাচোন তোমালোকৰ এইবাৰৰ গ্ৰীষ্ম বন্ধটো আৰু অধিক আমোদজনক তথা তথ্যপূৰ্ণ কৰি তুলো। কেনেকৈ? এই বিশেষ পাঠসমূহৰ সহায়তে। এই পাঠসমূহ উপলব্ধ হ'ব ইউটিউব আৰু ফেচবুকত। লিংক দুটা তোমালোকৰ সন্মুখতে দিয়া হৈছে। এই পাঠসমূহে আমি পুনৰ অধ্যয়ন কৰিম।